You talk about the natural landscape as if it has inherent freedoms and that it's equally accessible for everybody, but obviously it's governed by the same systems of power and wealth and access as any other space. My name's Ro Robertson. I'm an artist. I work with painting and drawing, sculpture and performance, based here in West Cornwall. Specifically, I wanted to work on the beach and in Porthmeor studio to really absorb the environment into the work. All of the colours that have been used from the changes in the light conditions, in the different weather that you get throughout the day. And then by working outside directly, again, you've just got to work with whatever happens in that moment. The mark making has actually been made by the wind and the rain itself. I started to really think about my connection to the natural landscape. As an LGBTQ person who'd lived in the city for a long time, I was finding connection through community, but I wasn't finding that connection with outside. So it became this reclaiming of being out, being who I am, and it not being boxed into a certain space or within any rigid binary understandings. The difference between the hardness of rock and the softness of water and the fluidity of the changing landscape became this metaphor for freedom. I really love the relationship between the spaces of where the work's being made and where it's going to be displayed. So working directly on the beach and then working here at Porthmeor Studios down the road from Tate St Ives. So you have this triangle of spaces where the work exists. I first started working with steel really as a way of connecting with my own industrial heritage. So I'm from Sunderland, which was a major shipbuilding town. Continue to use my model as reference. At the minute I'm trying to find one of the base pieces that I want to use. There were about 700 women who worked in the shipyards in Sunderland. And when I found out about these women, it made me just connect with a history that had otherwise been completely dominated by men. I became obsessed with sort of the relationship between the body and this material that we associate with like hardness. But it's also, I find it really beautiful how it rusts and how the surface can become quite painterly. I work with naturally how the steel weathers. So initially I put the steel out in the rain, it rusts into these shapes, so the steel almost marks itself. Welding steel is a completely different process from fluid drawings out on the beach. I kind of enjoy that contrast. A lot of my work is about contrast and forces coming together in that sort of core energy or magnetism or tension. So Interlude is installed within the Modern Thresholds room. Modern Thresholds is about that transitional space between land, sea and air. It's such a unique gallery space to respond to, so the work was very much responsive to the environment outside and of the architecture of the gallery space. The viewer can experience the beach and then come in, experience the work and occupy the space between the sculptures and the drawings. They're not framed, so I haven't put that barrier between the work and the viewer. So it's very much about direct connection with the landscape. So literally they still have sand on and being manipulated by the water and the seawater. And it's all about being able to get close to the work and experience, hopefully, a direct relationship with the landscape that we're within. A lot of the artists in this room are connecting or conveying an emotional or a sensory connection with the landscape through colour and gesture. It's really incredible to be in this room with artists who have such a visceral relationship with colour.